information to the public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business and is not to be considered a public community meeting. There's time for public participation during the meeting as indicated in the agenda by remarks to the public. Roll call, please.
Mr. Torrey? Here. Mr. Douglas is absent. Mr. Kukowski?
Here.
Mr. Blake? Mr. Dorsey?
Here. Pledge of allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do I have a motion to approve the agenda and the addendum items? Do I have a second?
I have one change. Instead of a temporary appropriation for the recommendation, will be a permanent appropriation.
Okay, okay. We'll go through that. Any discussion? Okay, roll call.
Mrs. DeTore? Yes. Mr. Kukowski?
Yes.
Mr. Dorsey?
Yes. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of May 26, 2015 regular meeting and June 5, 2015 special meeting? I'll second it. Any discussion? Okay, roll call.
Mrs. DeTore? Yes. Mr. Kukowski?
Yes.
Mr. Dorsey?
Yes. Okay, remarks to the public. Do we have anyone who would like to speak? Again, we'd like you to wish you give your address to the board, have a 5-minute limitation, your name, your address, and the topic. We haven't heard you yet, sir.
My name is Eric Gerard.
No, I mean as to whether we're
Oh, yeah, right. And it's going to be my blood. Is Dean this camera?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Thankfully, I didn't, they won't be blaming the school system on my bad penmanship. Hi, I'm Eric Gerard. I'm president of the Hemlock Hills Homeowners Association. I've been so for, this is my many years, going on for a decade now. The reason I'm here, well, first off, I should let you know, Hemlock Hills, I represent 225 homeowners and recreation members that all attend or all are in the West Java School District. Some of you may remember that at the last election, we invited each of the people that were up for the school board as well as the township trustees to participate in what we call it, a candidates night that we held. Some of you did attend, and we appreciate that. Some weren't able to make it because there was also a lot of other activities going on that same evening. Over a month ago, our association asked the board to include an invitation to join our rec area and our pool. We sent out to the families of the Westwood Elementary School system. And I want to make a few clarifications because there may be some misunderstandings because the request did not come from me. And I want to make sure that people understand that the Hemlock Hills Homeowners Association is a nonprofit organization. We have the support for this particular activity from both the Russell Township trustees as well as the Russell Board of Zoning Appeals that explicitly allowed us for the very first time to extend an invitation to join our pool and rec area outside of our immediate development. Okay? We have, as a part of this group, a very active swim team. The swim team has been feeding the West Java High School swim team and some of the leaders of that swim team, oh gosh, for probably 15, 20 years now. The reason I'm here is to clear up any questions or misunderstandings there may be about the Homeowners Association and this request to include this invitation to the families of the Westwood Elementary School system and ask for your support. Are there any questions? Because apparently there were some confusion, and I'm here to alleviate any confusion.
Well, sir, usually our format is we don't address, we allow you to
Speak and that's it. Okay.
for a second.
All right. In that case, that's my say. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Would anybody else like to address the board? Okay, superintendent's report. We don't have anything, so we're going to go right to superintendent's.
Okay, we go to the superintendent's report. I'm used to that. Ethics confuses my first day here, so
Welcome to your first day at West
I'm
Job.
looking at the superintendent's recommendations here, and I'm seeing the superintendent's report. Okay, here's my superintendent's report. This is my first day on the job. Very productive day. I moved a lot of material into my office. I now have most of my pictures hung. I have the furniture arranged. It was a pretty good workout for the custodial staff and myself on getting things put into position. Everyone has been very helpful, very cooperative. My computer is now functioning, my laptop. I do not yet have my desktop set up. I am answering emails and signing requisitions and or not, depending on what the requisition might be. And it has been a really very good day. Karen's been very helpful, as have the rest of the staff. And things are going very well. I hope to be more acclimated by the next board meeting. And I promise not to have quite the same deer in the headlights look for that time that I do tonight.
We're very happy to have you in the district. So we're very pleased to see you come in today and stay.
And the key is we'll be back tomorrow, the next day.
You know you'll be back tomorrow.
Everyone's been wonderful to me. Thank you.
Should we all say welcome?
We waited a while, so it's very nice. Well, do I have a motion to approve the superintendent's recommendations?
So moved.
And a second. Thank you, Mark.
Sure. Now, again, bear with me because these are people I do not know, but I'm going to tell you what I do know about the recommendations because I do know quite a bit about this. Under personnel, you'll note that Frank Rico is on the agenda tonight. His was the result of the need to change his retirement date by 1 day. So it's really a matter of clarification. It really doesn't change the outcome of the original action. In terms of staff appointment, Pam Mahalik is moving from an administrative assistant position at the high school to one at Westwood Elementary. This is increasing compensation for her due to the fact that she'd be moving from Secretary 2 to Secretary 3. Teresa Polking has been hired. She's replacing a retiree at the high school who is a Secretary 2 classification. And then Sue Briscar is moving into an accounts payable position. But Sue, again, is a current employee. All of these are probationary contracts. While people settle into given positions, we anticipate success for them, but we do note that as of now they're on probation in those new positions. There is also a leave of absence coming up. This is for Kim Bernardi, who's an intervention specialist at Lindsay Elementary School. She will be on leave of absence for the first semester. There is a recall of certificated staff who we have coming in 2015-16 school year. That's Christy Spicer, who's coming back as an elementary teacher at a 1.0 FTE. This is something that we're very pleased to be carrying. From what I understand, I have never met Christy, but I hear she's a fine teacher.
I'm right. She's the one cheering in the back of the room.
There you go. So,
I am fantastic. Thank you.
I'll remember that. Glad to have you back. It's
Thank
always good to be on a recall list. It's much better than the alternative, certainly. Then there are also some, let's see, I guess ones that would affect you. I guess we don't really need to. Well, okay. The change in contracts, those are due to education increases for individuals. Obviously, when they complete a certain step, be them the master's plus 30 or some hours beyond the degree at which they served last year, they're entitled to additional compensation. And those are adjustments that have to be made for the upcoming school year. The next item on the agenda are supplemental assignments. The supplemental assignments obviously are ones that are coming up for us that relate to, one is for athletics, assistant coach, it's a half contract position. There are also other supplemental assignments that are coming up for summer school teachers and then also for fall supplemental assignments. We have some summer routes for substitutes. These are due to extend the school year needs. And so we have some substitutes on for that. These would relate to additional bus routes that are offered in the summer to meet the extended school year requirements of some of our students. Then also, we have professional development stipends. The resulting MOU was signed between the superintendent and also the head of the teachers union. These are the amounts that are listed in the agenda, and this work has already been completed. The next item is an item to abolish an administrative supervisory position with the district, to suspend the contract, and also to abolish the position. The duties of this individual will be assumed by other administrators within the district, and the position will be abolished at the close of business on July 31st, 2015. The next agreement is a service agreement with PSI affiliates. This is for site services and also for speech services for St. Anselm School. These are paid through auxiliary funds. The next agreement, I'm sorry, I'm going through here all this time. It's never ending. The next agreement is an insurance agreement. This is for property and liability insurance with the Ohio Schools Council. The amount on this is approximately $72,000 a year annual premium. Then we also have the purchase of 3 new buses. Those are at the amount of $248,000. These are payable through the permanent improvement levy. And then last but not least, we have some donations to the district. I'd like to know what those are. One is a $500 donation from the Medical Neutral Scholarship Program. Then we also have a check for $1,500 from the WestGBrd PTO, and then a check for $4,500 from the WestGBrd PTO, and also another check for $900 from the WestGBrd PTO. So those are all.
Did you think I was going to go out with the bang?
Those are all sizable and very nice donations. So thank you
Now I
very much.
understand.
You should just clean under that, should not be.
No, all the years of me saving them.
And just for the record, I don't think I did a bad job other than that inside contract when I couldn't find the end of it.
Any questions? Okay, roll call.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mrs. McCoy?
Yes.
Ms. Dillon, treasurer's report.
All right, we have treasurer's report. This will be our monthly financials for the month of May. We have approximately $16,375,000 in the bank right now. And your treasurer's report A, notice we did about 0.2%. I've had several meetings with investment firms, and David and I, certification, as soon as I narrow it down, and then we'll micro Jackie tomorrow, and then the last one about interview. We'll sit down and kind of talk with the folks on, looking at the investment.
Trying to make a little bit more than the 2,400.
Yeah, it looks like right now the bonds and the CDs are in the long-term market for us. CDs are paying more than bonds right now. Gives us a little more flexibility too. So we'll look at taking our carryover and investing that. So we'll get probably another 25,000. So we're just checking out firms, looking at their recommendations, all that stuff. So it should be pretty good. We'll increase it.
That's great.
And still keep our principal safe. We're limited as what we invest in.
How long's the term?
They're probably running, I can pick them up for 1 year or 2 year terms. I don't think we want to go, obviously with our diminishing fund balance, we don't want to go any longer than that. We'll pick up probably 1 year at the most. We'll have to carry over for a year. And we'll invest something that I will cost. We won't have to break even this year.
Karen, that's so exciting. It really is, because that's been a thing, well, it's been a thing with the board to see if we can make some money in those, it's
We
just
should be
great.
able to- What in our discussions with all 3 firms, like that, but we're good. better results there. But in good shape. The next report is your cash reconciliation. You'll notice that we have 0 differences, so we're in good shape. You'll also notice that the balance for the general ledger equals the report on Treasury Report C in the sum, which is our current fund balances. That would be approximately $16,375,000 as well. Treasurer Report D, this is our operations 11 months in. And you'll notice at this point we are $125,000 ahead of our revenue goal. We don't have any more revenue. And I have probably one more foundation payment. And then on our expenses, we're ahead, but keep in mind that we have like the end of June is a very heavy month for us. We'll see where we are. We also are, as we talked about throughout the years, our personnel services are attributed to our, the negative variance is attributed to some early retirements that we had payouts. We also had overages and supplementals. We also have overages in our sick time and our sub-costs. We are picking up a little bit of retirement benefits, recouping some of those funds down. Again, this will go down because this is a regular pay. And then purchase services is still a tricky item for me, and Ken and I will be working on this. This is where we have a lot of our special education purchases with ESC and ongoing institutions. So this is one we'll be getting a better handle on as far as that's kind of our goal this year is to see where we can reduce costs. We're very consistent with what we had last year, but some of those just may need a delay of payment because we're on a cash basis. Supplies and materials will continue to have that positive variance there, and the rest of those are in line with what we have. So we will be in good shape going in, and you'll have we'll talk about the appropriation. We also have included a month-to-date report. This is report of added. We also have on report F is the food services. We are year to date, I know, very positive now.
Wow.
$1,900.
There's a
Yeah,
far
yeah.
leap from negative
That's a huge-
When you
235
started out.
to 235,000 in the whole 3.5 years ago.
However, next month we'll have a negative balance.
Follow it with the however.
Sorry, because we won't have any more revenue, but we'll have expenses. So
Very nice.
we will be we'll have that in place.
Nice
And
job.
report G is just a listing of the federal funds that we received, the auxiliary services funds that we received. And we had one additional, as you can see this last time, is Daniel Lamont. She received a grant from Belize, Ohio. We had presentations made, the winners of the report last month. And this is part of that, $2,900 for her entrepreneur class. So, that's pretty awesome. That concludes my report, sir.
Awesome. Okay. Do I have a motion to accept the treasurer's recommendations? And a second?
All right, we have on your desk the final appropriation for 2015. I have to say, the moving of the meeting for 1 week was a little hectic. So I'm hoping this will hold once we do our last payroll. So this is our final appropriation, so this is what we are limited to spend for the month, for the year for 2015. That is $30,881,000. Now that includes all the other funds that we have, not just the general fund that we have. And remember, when you're looking at the fund balances, the 001 fund and the 002 and the 016 all get added together for our general fund. So when you add all those together, you kind of get to where you can look and see, and compare that to your 5-year forecast. That's only because we have several funds that generate income that we include those two. The second page is a permanent fund measure. In the past, last year we had a temporary appropriation. This year I feel pretty comfortable with the permanent appropriation. We may have adjustments throughout the year, which will amend these along the way, but this is a very good start. So we're hoping that this is going to improve this, and we'll get started converting over to 2016 fiscal year. This is compared to the 5-year forecast that I presented last, in the budget that I presented last month, we had 2 increases, and they're limited to about $150,000. One is I'm concerned about the kindergarten numbers, which I've already talked about those, whether or not we'll have to add a kindergarten teacher. We're right at 112 students right now. We had some retaining in our kindergarten class. So we're waiting to kind of see how those numbers flush out. We will wait until folks are part and Trish's decision, when he feels like he does that. I wanted to go ahead and include it in the budget. I hope that we won't have to use it, but we want to include it. The other result is we received a notice today that we have our federal funding from our grants, and we're down about $100,000 in our federal funding in our grants. Part of that is related to our Title II-A money, which is improving teacher quality. This money is being reduced 20% each year. Part of we used to get the money for St. Anselm. They're now getting that money directly through a variety. They had an argument with the Ohio Department of Education. We used to go out, so we have a reduction. The second item is our IDEA money, our Part D, which is our special education grant money. That money has been reduced about $70,000, and that is we don't know why, but it's today, and so I didn't want to put it in the budget. So it's not in the appropriation. Now what happens is we pay salaries out of that account. So if we don't have it in the fund, in the federal fund, we get paid out of the federal fund, then it goes back into the general fund. We pay out of the general fund. We pay some aides and we pay a psychologist and we pay a couple people out of it in one of our speaker members. So as a result, that's now going to have to go back into the general fund. So that's why some of that is increased. As you're looking at comparing those two. And then we have a transfer. These are end-of-the-year cleanups for the grant. We usually have a transfer money, advance from the money that we get back the next month. And then one item that we have on the end-of-the-year transfer is in the 009 accounts and the student accounts, in the uniform supply accounts, we continue to run negative. We had negative balances last year, 2 years ago. It's the money we receive on supplies, kids pay their fees, and then we buy supplies. We've had 2 of our schools, we've had negative balances, and we're going to go ahead and transfer that money, clean that up, get them. It's money coming from students that are not obligated to pay, which are pretty reduced much. So we have to apply them supplies, and we have to keep for them. So it's accumulating over the years, so we're just going to clean that up, and then make a recommendation. Paid checks, we have a listing of the checks included in your packet. We also have one item on the now statement that the police fees come in when we're doing projects, so it's on the now statement. And then our statement of purpose and budget, we have 3 of these supplementals. This would be for our next year's supplemental appropriation. These are for next year. They just want to get those in and get them ready for the start of school. He just wanted to leave, so we want to have those in. We also have item H is a new legal counsel, McIntyre and C. It's Brinza McIntyre and C. This is a new legal counsel we'd like to add. Normally we add them all at the beginning of the year. This is one that Rich has been working with in his past organization, so we want to go ahead and have that as one of our approved legal firms under board. Go ahead and have that on the agenda here. Okay.
Any discussion? Any questions? Okay, roll call.
Dr. Phelps?
Yes.
Mr. Thorson?
Yes.
Mrs. Torrey?
Yes.
And Mr. Phelps?
No, but of course, you just started, but we're gonna have to sometime here in July or August do a first reading back in policies that we,
We'll also need a retention committee. They were documents. On that committee is the president, superintendent, treasurer, full make a recommendation.
Yeah, that is committee error.
It is a committee, it's already established. But if they throw it, we throw away some documents, we have to have a committee in the Ohio Historical Society.
Okay. Trust you'll keep us on task.
Get on task. First we have to,
Very good, very good. Okay, on to new business. Mr. Petoskey, it sounds like you have something?
Okay, two things.
Okay.
The first is we talked about creating some standing committees, the report on that, now that Rich is here, we can start to create a structure for the Citizens Advisory Committee on Facilities and one on Finance, which Karen will give us the guidance on setting that up. So just, that's all there is to say on that now. Next meeting, we should have something on that. The next item in new business is we should send thank you letters out to all the donors who donated for the afternoon. So just to say thank you, maybe not to ourselves, but certainly to businesses and the clubs who donated. So I just like the word to authorize those thank you letters. And lastly, the Hemlock Hills thing.
With regular, could you and Jackie just maybe provide a list and how would you like that?
I've got a list of that because.
I sent you mine.
Yeah, we sent,
Yes.
yeah, so.
Do you want to initiate that and then
Yeah.
look for board approval to do that?
Yeah.
Don't necessarily need to give board approval to do that? Okay, you just, maybe just letting us know that you're doing that and we'll sign it in the next meeting.
Rich, so that, so yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry, I wasn't quite sure, but okay.
Oh, that's all.
And before you move on, can I ask you about something else? Before we actually say, I'm just very intrigued as to Rich's perspective on these standing committees. Not that I don't think that every single facilities and finance are important, but your two passions may be different than my two passions, different than Dan's two passions, and different than Tom's two passions. I would just be interested in Rich's perspective as to, again, remember I had offered to look at the long-range plan, and really there are two things that he feels, because we all have different passions. I can say that, mine, is different. I'd just be interested in hearing what you would recommend at our next meeting or whatever, or in an email, after reviewing and getting your feet
I'm happy to
right
do
there.
that. I don't know if you're wanting an answer tonight or just like me to address it at the next meeting, because I'm putting down my notes here of things that you'd like to hear at the next meeting. I'll be prepared if you'd like me just to wait until then. I can tell you right now in a nutshell basically what I'm looking at, and that is I think that the board probably needs a work session in which the board can identify the committees, the needs of the district right now that they feel might be met well through committees. And then I think that it's incumbent upon us to do two things. I mean, one is to recruit the people for those committees who are best qualified to serve. And then number two, I think, is to define the role of the committee, because the role of an advisory committee, I suppose if I were to say it would be advisory committee, it's not a board of education. There's one elected board that's elected to do the vote, the people who elected it. The advisory committee can bring us a level of expertise and help us to solve problems that perhaps we individually and collectively don't have the capacity to solve to the degree that they would. So I think that advisory committees are a good thing to have, but I think the board has to decide, as you stated, what the priorities are for the board that correspond to the needs of the district, and then get the key people in place from the community who you know can help to meet those needs.
Yeah, just to clarify for you, Jay, the reason those two were proposed is because they gave the most money. And the second reason is there are pretty clear criteria by which we pick people to serve on the advisory board who have qualifications. Because those are not exactly fuzzy qualifications that are very specific. So that's why those creating others is definitely a good thing, and obviously it's going to take some time for our board to get people and set up the structure and make it work. So that's why I thought start with two, but
Well, I'm not saying that all the other things don't need to be addressed, but for me, I mean, like, I think we need to have help in communications, and we need a communications advisory committee, and we have a plethora of knowledge out there, what people can offer, they've managed this, quite frankly, several times. So I think it is beneficial to get in a work session, let's hash out what we, kind of agree on. And so,
What sometimes emerges from those work sessions too is that once you identify people who would like to serve on those committees, it's nice sometimes to then open up an invitation to the community in general, because there may be people out there who have expertise that we don't know. And it seems as though oftentimes boards go back to the same people, when in fact there are other people who would love to have their voices heard as well. And it's a good way for a board to really democratize the process of including the community by opening doors to people who may not know who have expertise.
And I do think for the finance standpoint, and finance committee, that would also have a sounding board for audit committee. There would be an outsider party to any kind of board looking at it and talk about it. And they can, the finance committee can also talk about it. So just a very good goal for us.
Well, and I think there's been questions too of transparency, and it allows those folks that feel like, maybe some of our businesses done behind closed doors, it allows them access to see that. And I'm all for that.
It also helps also insight something that more people understand our finances. Sometimes convoluted, the better we are.
Third, thank you. Okay, third, the issue of Hemlock Hills. As Eric Gerard stated, Hemlock Hills has a community pool, and until recently there was a zoning that allowed them to operate under variance, which stated that they could only operate within the confines of that community. That was defined by zoning variance. Anyway, they have gone back to Russell Township, and Russell has agreed that they can operate as a pool with certain members, meaning that anyone can join the pool, and they wanted to extend the opportunity to all of West Geauga. And as far as I know, they're the only actual neighborhood pool in West Geauga. Anyway, they have a swim team, which, as Eric stated, that's provided a lot of kids for our swim team. They compete with the other local pools, Vanderwood, and some of the other ones. Anyway, we were asked to include a flyer on that when we get backpacks and for it to be in the email that goes out. And the reason is because it offers, the regulator offers some programs for kids, and it's a nonprofit. There was someone in the administration who had about doing that.
okay, I gotta stop, because I received it in Weston's email.
Yeah, you did.
I did, so that's, I'm a little confused with the issue.
Okay, well, here it is. You didn't get the flyer, and the suggested heading wasn't here. Just, if you saw that heading, it wasn't an invitation to join, or an invitation to go to the pool party, which all the kids at Westwood were invited to the pool party. It was some, nondescript, anonymous headline, I forget what it was. So the question first off is this something that the schools get involved with, is passing out things like this for community organizations? That's the first question. Do we have any policies, anything about this? Girl Scouts, for instance.
I was gonna say, per policy, I mean, just from what I know, and maybe you guys can elaborate, no matter what it is, there has been, even Girl Scouts has been turned on before. Even, I was sitting in this room and make posters, I have to take them over to central office to make sure that they're approved by them as well. Because there is policy of guidelines of what we can and can't publish. I know, it's almost like a month in advance notice before it can actually get approved, because there has been deadlines missed because somebody comes in on Friday, send this out on Monday type of thing, and that's not all policy. The other thing was, our most, I think all 4 of our schools are trying to go completely paperless. So everything is getting, even PTO doesn't send out unless it's a handwritten response that we need back. In the event, they still want it sent to them email and just paper copies left at the desk in the event somebody doesn't have a copy or a paper to print it out themselves. But everything has gone paperless. I mean, very few papers, I mean, you could ask almost all the teachers, very few papers go home anymore. Is that correct?
Yes, and we have a judge response because it goes directly to the parent's email. Instead of stuffed in the desk, stuffed in the book.
Was there a feeling then, and I'm just kind of coming late to the party, that there was some censorship?
There was specifically, I called Mike Nutter on this twice, he called me back. And what had happened is the person who was asking for this to be distributed, somebody in the administrative office, somehow got the idea that they were a for-profit and were trying to bluff a scam or something. And then Nutter told them to distribute, he's okay with it, it's a nonprofit, and then they didn't, and then it got delayed again. So it was a real series of delays, and so my question is, first of all, what policy do we actually have about these nonprofits getting sent out? And the second part is, what process do we have so that when people bring it before us, what process can we have that streamlines it so they can know that this will in fact be distributed, and that something like a pool party that's open to Westwood School doesn't get, I mean, they have like 3 kids from outside the neighborhood there, or something. So something like this doesn't happen again.
My understanding of the policy is that the superintendent has to approve anything that goes out. As far as the process, I don't understand what happened. The process is it goes to the assistant to superintendent, and then we're just.
It was pretty successful, by the way. I was there.
I know, I saw you in membership.
Yeah.
Now, is this?
If we didn't have ear problems, we'd be guppy. But yeah.
Is this for Western or Western? Is it Russell?
Oh, for all of West Geauga, there's the invitation to belong to this school.
So it wasn't just Western, because
It
they're
wasn't just Westwood, although they were concentrating on Westwood this year because it's the first year that they're allowed to have membership outside.
You know, the library tried to send out a flyer, and I was at the library last year, and they were just commenting that their flyer about a reading program couldn't go out. So, yeah, that was, and they were like, obviously you don't want hundreds of papers, but even the library said it couldn't go out.
Wow.
There were some last year.
We're not doing the flyer thing anymore, so giving kids.
We do, like, for example, when we had Geauga West Library come in, they had flyers that they gave to the students in class, and those went home. But then we also put it on the email so parents saw it.
Here's where I think the issue was, is beginning last year, we had policies established for this for several years now, except for last year, they were actually implemented. And people
Right.
actually began to, now we have to follow rules. And people were just so used to, hey, come up to Westwood, go up to Lindsay, drop off a stack of papers this high and say, oh, can you shove them in the kids' mailboxes? Well, all of a sudden, their previous superintendents, no, we have a policy for this, and you're actually supposed to come, unless it's literature that we're, sending out to the students, we need to look at it before sending out, whether you're a nonprofit or not. We want to make sure the content that is being sent to our kids. Then this year they rolled out the paperless. They're trying to do very, very little paperless. So everything you get is always in an attachment, and it'll have a blurb or a heading, but I think it's just the amount of paper that is being sent home. That was one step further. So last year I could say that it was just, oh boy, we've never had to do this, but it's really been a policy all along.
Right.
And people were just, not prepared for the timing of it. They felt that they could drop off a site, oh, can you pass these out? Well, now you need to give yourself a few weeks because it has to be approved. I'll make sure of that.
And I think going forward too, those are questions you're going to be able to direct to the superintendent, and then, you'll be able to get us that information all the way.
I can't add a great deal to what's been said because I think in the various contributions to this conversation, pretty much all the truisms have been addressed. But But I think that obviously, first we have to look at policy, because not all school districts deal with such requests in the same way, but all school districts do have a policy that relates to the transmission of information and who gains access to such things as a listserv or even communications that may be sent home. Usually the access to the school listserv electronically is more restricted than papers that might be sent home, if in fact those papers are generated by the organization wishing to be featured. I don't know of any school district that can justify the expense, and I'm not saying this was asked, but the expense of printing flyers to send home from another organization. I mean, that's really would be a misuse of funds to do that. Secondly, I think you have to look at the practice. In some school districts, there's a very close relationship between the recreation program and the community, and sometimes that is actually even solidified through some sort of a financial arrangement with the schools. And so obviously, if there's a partnership of that sort with the local youth programs, then there are exceptions made for that group. There is a cost factor involved. There's also the decision on the part of most schools now to be as paperless as possible. I don't think we do that as much in the classroom as we do in our communications outward. And then I think we also have to look at the effects, because if you permit certain groups to have access to the schools as a conduit to distribute information, it's very difficult to say no to groups that you don't want to use the schools as a conduit to information. So those are all things we have to look at. It's not to throw a wet blanket on this and say we can never send home things, because in some cases we certainly can. But Karen is also right that the standard procedure for that is usually to go through the administrative assistant of the superintendent and then to say, do we have permission to send this home? And the superintendent makes that decision against the background of board policy and best practice. So that's the easiest answer I can give you right now. Okay?
Yeah. Well, you know, and one big question is, obviously, as you said, who do you want to give access to our conduit of distributing information? Because I personally haven't heard that we have a clear policy on that in particular. I don't know, do we, Jackie?
Who we're giving the information? I mean, we're not giving the information out to anybody to email.
Who has access?
There's policy there, and generally speaking, it comes in categories where, even if you look at your rental agreements, there are certain groups that have access first and foremost to the schools, so there can be parallels there. The one thing that I would offer that I haven't heard anyone say is that oftentimes where we may not be able to distribute the information for other organizations, we oftentimes have some ideas that can help them distribute it in a way so that while they may not get from point A to point B in the way that they envision, we can help them get from point A to point B and get that information out. So sometimes we can serve as a resource and an idea generator for those organizations and work in partnership with them to get the word out, although we may not do it in exactly the same way we're requesting to do it. We're all partners together. Some of the benefits kids, we all want to be able to promote it, and that's the schools as well as the organizations.
Okay, thanks. Thank you.
Any other new business? Okay, well, our next board meeting will be July 20th in the middle school community room that we're in right now. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Wait for my reading of
Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Thorson?
Yes.
Mrs. Detour?
Yes.
Mr. Gajowski?
Yes.
Dr. Cox?